And now that we're coming to the close of another Thanksgiving, I can actually tell you that what the Pilgrims actually wore is not exactly the same as what you've seen in all the paintings and the pictures. So, were the Pilgrims always dressed in black? Only on special occasions. Okay, it took a lot to get your clothes dyed black the way that they have it in the Thanksgiving stories. Many a times the outfits were of various colors, sometimes just white or gray. The reason for that is because you didn't have to do very much dyeing on white or gray to make the white or gray. The natural colors of the fabric were usually white or gray. So black was really for special occasions only. Now you say, well, what would the Pilgrims have worn? Well, their undershirts would have been made of linen, which would have been kind of a softer material. But their outer garments were usually made of either like a blue jean linen or, worse yet, wool, because wool and blue jean type linen lasts longer. Okay, for an outer garment. And they wore stockings, and usually these stockings were made of silk. And I tell you what, if you've ever been in the hot heat wearing silk stockings, you know exactly what kind of problems that can lead to. And remember, they actually had cobblers. Cobblers were people that actually made shoes. And these shoes were usually made out of leather. They didn't have tennis shoes like we have them today. And if your shoes started breaking down, you didn't just pitch the shoes. You took it to the cobbler and he usually fixed them up until they were just no longer fixable. Then you had to pitch them. So you didn't exactly just get rid of your shoes right off the bat. Now it is also said that until boys reached a certain age, usually it would be about 5 or 6, they were usually dressed up a lot like girls. They wore gowns too. So, it is kind of interesting how the Pilgrims dressed up. And I can tell you, the outfits they wore, and they usually wore long sleeves, even in the summertime. Can you imagine that? You're a pilgrim, you're wearing long sleeves in the summertime because you're a Puritan. And remember, these were not exactly the richest people in the world either. Pilgrims were not rich. They were kind of the poorer folk of society. That's part of the reason why they left England. Because they were poor. So, they had to come someplace where they could build a brand new life, because they certainly couldn't survive in England. Anyway, if you want to give any further commentary on the clothes that were actually worn by the Pilgrims, leave a comment down here below, leave me a video response. But I encourage you to go ahead and do further research on what the Pilgrims actually wore. Because what you saw at that first Thanksgiving dinner was not how those people normally dressed. That was a special occasion, and that was their special Sunday clothes. So, anyway, now you have an idea of how the Pilgrims actually dressed, and I will now tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.